Welcome back to the Hurry Up Offense Fantasy Football News and Advice for Week 9 of the NFL Fantasy Football season in 10 minutes. Or maybe a little more. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. Let's go. Today's topic is trade away because we just hit the end of the trade deadline for the NFL, but it's not the trade deadline for your fantasy league unless you have some abnormal setting. But for the most of us out there, we still have a week or 2 weeks or so to get this done, and that's what we're going to talk about. But first, let's get into the news. It's the Wednesday night news dump, and we are going to talk first about a ton of quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are dropping like flies right now. This is crazy. I don't know that it's unprecedented, but it hasn't happened like this in some time. It's the middle of the season. You guys need to know what to do. If you're in a 2 QB league right now, this is horrible. There's not much on the waiver wire. But let's talk about Dak Prescott is a full go in practice, and he should be ready to play this week against a battered and beaten Broncos defensive line missing Von Miller. So he should have a wonderful week for you this week. But the bad news is Sam Darnold is in the concussion protocol right now, so you may be turning to PJ Walker if you happen to be one of those 2 QB leagues where there is just nothing left on the waiver wire. And in just a minute, I'll go over with some people that could be on the waiver wire for you. Jameis Winston has a torn ACL and MCL, which you probably know by now, but the confusion about this at this moment is we don't know if it's going to be Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian at quarterback. I think if you're in that deep of a league and you really need it, I would probably trust Taysom Hill over Trevor Siemian, but I really don't know. This is a toss-up. Trevor Siemian looked halfway decent last week. It's going to be tough, man. Going to be tough. And another situation similar to that is Aaron Rodgers is in the COVID protocol, not the concussion protocol, but the COVID protocol right now, and there is the possibility that he could miss this week. So if that's the case, you might want to look for Jordan Love if you are in one of those desperate situations. I got to keep stressing that this is not for everyone. These are not pickups that you want to just make if you have a decent quarterback that is starting. This is for a very deep league, for 2 quarterback situations, and you just need any points you can get in those spots. Man, this is a big one also, but it looks like Aaron Murray is going to be out from 1 to 3 weeks. That's what it's looking like at the moment. So this is tough. This is going to put you in a bind if you are depending on Aaron Murray for your team, because that is one of the top fantasy producing quarterbacks this season. But as of right now, it looks like Kyler Murray is telling people he will play. But if he doesn't, you have Colt McCoy there. He is a veteran that has been trusted in many situations and in some cases proven to be helpful in fantasy football. So there's another option. Keep an eye on that. And this just in, apparently Justin Herbert is dealing with a hand situation, and it may be up in the air. We don't know. There's no word right now that he's going to be in or out. That literally just a news blurb that just popped up. So there's another one you're going to have to keep an eye on. Man, it's not getting any better. But if I had to guess right now, as of the time of this recording, I would say Herbert is probably going to play. Now, guys, there is so much injury news and other problems that is going on right now that I'm just going to run through some of this, but you need to check your news wire, whoever that is. I prefer Draft Bites on Draft Sharks. That's a really good place. But let me run through this really quickly and we'll get on to the game theory portion of the show. Josh Jacobs is off the injury report. Darren Waller is also off the injury report. Corey Davis is doubtful for week 9. Tevin Coleman is out for week 9. Robert Woods out Wednesday with a foot issue. Stafford out Wednesday with a stiff back. I think he's going to play, guys. I don't think this is going to hurt his chances. But just another QB that is dealing with an injury right now. AJ Green is on the COVID list. Saquon Barkley, along with a lot of other guys on the Giants who had tested positive for COVID, has actually been retested and tested negative for COVID, which is a good sign. These guys may be able to play. Deebo Samuel is held out of practice with some soreness in his calf. Now, not my second favorite breakout this season. He should be able to play, though. I don't think it's anything too major. Watch it, though. Also out of the 49ers camp, George Kittle is designated to return, and I hope it happens this week because I really need him on one of my fantasy teams. Tight end did not look great last week. We need George Kittle. But also think about this out of 49ers camp. Elijah Mitchell is sidelined at practice. He is not practicing. Oh my God. Another injured running back for the 49ers. These guys are just in and out like whack-a-mole, man. Keep an eye on it. Galladay is still not practicing. Jalen Reagor is sidelined Wednesday. He might not play, or he might. Probably is not going to matter for your fantasy team unless you're in an extremely deep league, or maybe some kind of dynasty. Hey, Christian McCaffery is set to come back from IR. This will be great. Now, we need Christian McCaffery back because fantasy football is severely lacking without Christian McCaffery, especially if you have him on your team. Let's get him back out there. Michael Thomas is done for the season. We were waiting out. A lot of people kept him on their IR, hoping that they were going to get that fantasy production. I know the Saints really wanted him back, but it looks like right now that he is not going to come back, so you can go ahead and drop him off your IR. Speaking of some other receiver that may not be coming back, Odell Beckham looks like he is frustrated and done with Cleveland. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. It doesn't look like his family wants him to be there anymore. He is not practicing right now, and he is just not happy. He may be done for the season. Will Fuller has been changed from just out to week. Like there's a lot of difference. He's not playing this week, most likely. Deshaun Jackson has been released, and he's out. And last but not least, I hate to see this, but Henry Ruggs is out. I'm sure you've all heard by now about his situation and what happened, but he's out. Probably not playing this season or maybe ever again. Horrible situation. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, another horrible situation is Calvin Ridley is also out, which I'm sure you've already heard about that. He sat out a couple weeks lately, and his mental health is top priority at this point in time, and I wish him the best. Hope he gets it all figured out and gets back to football really soon because he is one talented receiver. But if not, do what's best for you, Calvin. It's all good. Got to put a PS on the news segment because Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins are both out of practice right now. Hamstring issues. We saw them both go out of the games early. We need Hopkins. I don't know about Julio. You might need him. That's it for the news today. Let's get into the game theory portion of the show as I'm running long. It's talking about trades today. We're talking about trades and who you should trade and why you should trade them. Michael Carter is a buy. It's a get him if you can. Trade for him because he is in the midst of his breakout and it looks like he might be in a favorable situation right now. So try to get Michael Carter if you can. Also on the Jets, hold on to Mike White. We might see if this guy can actually put something together. First start was amazing. First start in his entire career in the NFL was amazing. Small school guy. Let's see what he's going to do. If you have him, hold on to him, see what happens. Don't sell him just yet. Don't try to sell high because his value is not that high after one start. Just hold on to him. See what happens. I don't believe in the buy low and sell high thing in fantasy football because everyone has too much information, but you might be able to get something out of David Johnson right now while the ambiguity is still in the air. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but you may be able to get something. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I would trade all San Francisco running backs. There is no reason to play that game each and every week. I would rather have Patriots running backs at this point. Yes. Trade for Patriots running backs, especially Damian Harris. Trade away Allen Robinson if you can get anything left. Trade away Ronald Jones if you can get anything out of him. Trade away Laviska Shenault. Trade away Robbie Anderson. Jonnu Smith and Gerald Everett. You want some quarterbacks? Matt Ryan. This is a tumultuous field of quarterbacks right now with all the injuries, but you might can get something out of Matt Ryan and upgrade at the quarterback position. If you have an extra quarterback on the bench, trade him away because people need them right now. They are hurting. You might be able to get a decent running back or a wide receiver out of it. Well, I am desperately out of time. That is it for this week. Tune in to the scoreboard every week. It comes out on Thursday right before this episode drops. You want to see Alex and I go through each game every week and predict the winners? Check it out. Please subscribe to the Beyond Football channel. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro, and I'll see you next week. Deuces.